Welcome back to Picture Stories. It is the middle of June 2025, and we're getting down to the bottom barrel of the picture stories that I have. Can you believe that we're already at 67 videos? This will be the 67th picture story. So, anyway, we're going to go through it kind of quick because we're down to the 1977 type of pictures. And we're just going to go through quick. So here we are right here. Look at this. 9 years old, in front of my parents' house, Palo Alto, California, which is now called Silicon Valley. And what I had done, I'm 8 years old. If you see the photo there, this is a Polaroid. And basically what I had, this was a Royce Union bike. I'm wearing a jean jacket coat and corduroy pants. And I took off the banana seat and I took the seat off a road bike or Schwinn Varsity and put that on my bike because that was the new style. No one was running banana seats anymore when I was considered, I guess, 8 expert or 9 expert at the time. So the jump that I'm jumping in front of my dad's house, it was just a board, just how we did it back in the day, okay? It was a piece of plywood basically cut in half. So if you go by the dimensions, it was basically 18 inches wide and about 36 inches long, 3 feet. And I put 3 car tires underneath it that I had gotten from my neighbor. 3 literally car tires. And there's the jump. And we would jump out into the street off the sidewalk. So you'd sprint down the sidewalk and jump out into the street. All right, so here we go. We're going to start the video. I'll speed it up a little bit more now. But we're just going to go from one picture to the next because I'm sitting with a stack of, shoebox stickers in between my legs. So here we go. Number 2. All right. For those that didn't know, yes, I owned an SE PK Ripper. And I won the California State Championships on it. Look how the bars are bent back, or what's now called swept back. So this is a 1981 PK Ripper with Tongay 175 cranks. I think that the pedals were KKT pedals, I believe. The forks were Speedo forks. The tires were Snake Belly. The rims were Araya, blue anodized. The seat was Cashew Max. The grips, I honestly don't know. And the pads were BMX Action. And too bad I can't, dude, this is old school picture. So, you got to realize this is a picture from 1981 in my dad's backyard. So, all right, next picture. We'll speed it up a little bit more. Okay, here's me racing Charles Townsend. I think this is a Los Angeles tournament. The track, I think, was which Mike Redman, rest in peace, took over eventually. Cole Canyon. So this is me leading Charles Townsend riding for Powerlight, which is kind of a vintage photo because most people know him being on Robinson. So yeah, Charles Townsend. So me leading Charles Townsend. Second place looks like number 9, Sam Arellano possibly. And then behind him might be Billy Harrison. And then behind him, it looks like kind of red line. That might be Didi Leone. So, some little history there. Here we go here. Santa Clara Powell. This is the infamous David Latimer on the Boss, early day Boss. This picture probably dates back to 1991 or 92. Santa Clara Powell, when they first moved from their original location from the 80s. Moving into some memorial type stuff. Me and Cecil Johns, we used to work out together at Gold's Gym in Silicon Valley, now called Mountain View, California. And we're doing leg extensions here. And if you look, my legs look nothing like that today. It just goes to show when you're 19 to 27 years old and you're going to the gym 3 times a week pumping weights, those are literally bodybuilder legs, So there you go there. And if you look at Cecil, look at his calves, okay? For the time, there was no BMXers that had calves that looked like that. Nowadays, it's pretty standard because they're all on these, Olympic training programs. Once again, me and Cecil hanging out in his bedroom. For those that didn't know, he had a 3-bedroom condominium, which he hosted many athletes in terms of roommates and training partners and just mentoring. Steve Veltman, Jason Richardson, Greg Romero. I'm sure I'm missing quite a few other names, but they all stayed at Cecil's 3-bedroom condo, okay, and trained and lived and learned the lifestyle of what it was like to be a disciplined cyclist. Because Cecil was all about training overall. It wasn't about BMX. So once again, us at Gold's Gym, that's him spotting me on a 225-pound bench. Basically, we used to do 5x5s with 225. That was, we're not bodybuilders, but you still had to have a basic strength level. So we would pyramid, start with the bar, 5 reps, just keep going up. And then once we got to 2 plates, which was 225 pounds, that was basically the workout after the warm-up. And the workout was 5 sets of 5 with 225 bench press. I'd be lucky to get 135 pounds nowadays. I don't think my shoulders could handle that. Cecil, once again, doing his thing at his condominium. Let's see, I'm still trying to gather some pictures up here. Well, anyway, the pictures have shuffled now. I just dropped them. This is me power wheeling out of the corner, Santa Clara Powell, one of their last nationals, before Nick Valencia got caught with misappropriation of funds, which ended up being $30,000. So they shut down the track and unsanctioned it, and Northern California hasn't been the same since. So it's just sad that it's always about money. So anyway, misunderstanding, or did someone take advantage of the privilege of being able to have his own deal? So anyway, well, now we go into some more stuff. This was my fiance at the time. So this is Woodward, Pennsylvania. Once again, you heard that right. Pennsylvania, the East Coast Woodward, the original one. I was the director of that camp for 4 years. And she was running the physical therapy program there for the gymnasts and any athletes that had a sprain or strain or anything hurting. So guess what? Dumbass me, I move her back to California, and we were together for 5 years, engaged, never got married. Once again, same lady, NBL Grands. She was there for my first NBL national championship title. Most people talk about six pack abs. Well, when I was 19 to 27, I had 12-pack abs. And people like Greg Hill go, "Oh yeah, you were on steroids and da 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 da." Yeah, does that look like steroids? I think it's 100 sit-ups a week, a lot of push-ups and pull-ups, and a lot of dips. Okay, because lifting weights just made you heavier, so you had to stick to calisthenics. So this is basically like a gymnastics build. And guess what? My fiance at the time was the once again the physical therapist for the USA gymnastics team. And we ended up going to the World Championships in 1990 for gymnastics. That was her side of the program. So once again, here we go, classic pictures. The Ultimate Vans team. This was the Vans, quote, pro team. We kind of started that. GT came in and they did one, and Schwinn had a pro team, and quite a few teams came in and mocked what we had done early on. But here we go with Ronnie Anderson on the left, Ron Pettit, Pistol Pete in the middle, Mr. T with his hand up, Everett Rosecrans, who was the 41 and over cruiser champion at the time, and Danny Milwee. Yes, Danny Milwee, long hair, mullet. So yeah, cool picture, cool history. The Vans Pro Team. There's never been a team like that since. And if you kind of look at it, you just go, wow, pretty rad, It's like almost like Nike having a BMX team. for how Vans has kind of advanced. Once again, I'm just going through the random pictures. This was the girl I moved back from Woodward, once again. This is Gold's Gym, Silicon Valley, Mountain View, California. She was a former gymnast also, so just for the record. So, more random pictures. Everett Rosecrans' wife. Vans, tennis shoes on the left. Me in the center. Fiance on the right. This was Columbus, Ohio. The Christmas Classic. And so, the budgets were so good back then, you could take your girlfriend to the race. You know what I mean? There was enough money to go around. It was like, okay, I'll buy you a plane ticket and you can stay with me at the Hilton Hyatt. Yeah, so anyway, training days. Once again, 300 push-ups a week, 300 dips, 300 pull-ups, 300 sit-ups. It was all about 300s. So you add that up and it's like, wow, dude. Kind of like prison workout, you know? 300 a week. Who does 300 push-ups a week? Oh yeah, but I'm on steroids. Yeah, sure, buddy. Okay, here we go again. Me hanging out at my local pub. I hung out at the bar so much after my training rides. I'd go out and do a 4-hour training ride, and I'd go to the happy hour on the way home. They gave me a beer mug, and they put my name on it. So that's the significance of this photo. Look at the legs, bro. Talk about training. Okay, I was riding my bike 200 miles a week. Okay, and if you know uphill, like ascent or whatever you want to call it, okay, I was climbing 9,000 feet a week. 9,000 feet a week, and drinking beer 4 days a week for recovery. Yeah, that's how we do it. So anyway, we're getting there. My mom's backyard. My mom was into like flower gardens and stuff, so this is like 1994 or something, AA Pro. Once again, 300 push-ups, 300 dips, 300 pull-ups. Okay? If you've ever done 300 push-ups, have you ever done 300 dips? Have you ever done 300 pull-ups in 1 week? Okay, this is how you look, okay? All right? It's very gymnastics type of build. This is me hanging out with my buddy. His dad died and gave him the creamery. So he took over the Peninsula Creamery here in Silicon Valley. And he made me an awesome vanilla milkshake because that's what I like. And I was showing him, even after a vanilla milkshake, I still got abs. Alright, we're down to the last couple pictures. This is Florida. This is when I first turned AA Pro. I got sponsored by MCS. They invited me to the factory. Noticed the slack pants. I had a professional meeting, signed the contract. They got me a condo on the water because that's how things worked back then. And yeah, so condo on the water. So I decided to take a picture flexing my thoughts saying, yeah, I just signed a 3-year contract with MCS Bicycles. Doing great. Next picture, Philippines. Me and Pistol Pete went to the Philippines to develop mountain bike products. We had a driver and an armed guard because things were sketchy back then. And this is me sitting in the front seat. And we're heading to the factory at like 5:30 in the morning to do some testing on products. And here we go. And last, here we are. This is like 2004. Getting ready for the MBL Grands, and yeah, that's it. All right, thanks for chiming in. Picture videos have ended. Cheers.